Well, what's going on, guys? Today I am joined by Mr. Molt, and together we are going to rank every single one-cost card in Marvel Snap. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring up a card, and both of us at the same time are going to say our tier and then stand our ground, say our statement on why we want to rank the card, where we ranked it. Now, the tiers that we have today, as shown here, is we've got S being the top tier. A tier is good in just about any deck. B is situationally good, Molt. C is below average. And then the F tier is the old Pixel Hell Cow variant. So trash, right? Just trash tier. Looking at them all together, Molt, tell me about one-cost cards. Why are they so important?
Man, one-cost cards are important in the game because not only do they give you something to play on turn one, obviously, but also because they're just great for filler. Like, a lot of times your decks aren't built or you don't draw into the perfect card to play on curve, meaning on turn 2, 3, 4, and 5. And so having those one-cost cards to kind of bring and cycle in to give you power and an effect, it just makes them really, really good for filling those kind of empty spaces.
All right, guys, we're going to start in alphabetical order, and we're going to start with Agent 13. Here we go.
3, 2, 1.
B.
Yeah. This one was tougher because I do think she is good in any deck in a way, but also there are a lot of cards in this game. Maybe 30% of the time, I feel like I actually get a card that I'm gonna use in that battle. Why did you put it in B?
Right. I don't think that you play Agent 13 for the card that you get from Agent 13. That's always a bonus. If you're playing Collector and Dino, then Agent 13 is practically a 1-5, if you think about it, because 2 for Agent 13, 1 for Collector, and then another 2 for Dino. Especially if you play, like if you save Dino for final turn, being able to play Dino Agent 13 is pretty significant. You know, being able to draw in that extra card so that you don't feel like you're just emptying out your hand or whatever, and you can bring that 2 power down there. So situationally solid within those Dino kind of Collector style decks.
3, 2, 1.
F tier. Okay.
I was between because F is really bad and Angel's pretty bad, but I think if they tweak it to come out of your hand, then it would be significantly better.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I saw somebody, I put this on Twitter, I saw someone mention that if Angel flies out of your deck, he gets +2. If he flies out of your hand, he stays the same. And I'm like, okay, or maybe not +2, that's way too much, but maybe +1 if he flies out of your deck. Isn't that a decent idea?
I like that. That's a really good idea, actually.
He's so infamous too, like for the X-Men. For me, I feel bad. He's second up, right, guys? But I was trying to think quickly who's worse than Angel in the one-cost tier, and there's definitely ones in there. But I'm like, he's down there. So you know what I'll do is we'll kind of place the average.
I agree with F as well.
3, 2, 1.
A.
Yeah. A tier. Did you struggle with S or A? Were you struggling between those two?
No, I was struggling with B and A, and the only reason I say B is because it's ongoing, so typically you see it in Spectrum ongoing decks, but when I think of Ant-Man, I also think of Mojo, but they're different. Ant-Man you control on your side. Mojo you also rely on your opponent. And so that's why I think Ant-Man is good, is because you control whether or not it's a 1-4, obviously unless they have Killmonger or something like that, but you control whether or not you want the card to be a 1-4. It is all in your hands. And so I think that gives it more value because you're in control of the ongoing effect, not you and your opponent.
In the right deck, I think he's great. Like, zoo decks rely on him. But yeah, I would say for me, he is an A tier. I'm probably in more the middle of the pack of A tier. I think he is, in my opinion. I think we said this when we talked about Spider-Woman. I feel like Ant-Man is a card I know I like. Great. Right. I know the value's there. I just don't put him in a lot of my decks personally.
3, 2, 1.
S tier.
Whoa!
All right, I like this. Now, funny enough, is I could be convinced down to A tier for sure. B tier, and you don't have Bast, do you?
No.
Yeah,
but I know the types of decks that she's played in. Bast could completely screw up some decks.
Yeah,
maybe not. I don't know.
It's tough because of how we have the tiers labeled, like good in any deck, top tier. The reason I have her in just top tier is because, obviously, like the Mr. Negative is where you see her, but Cerebro plays really well.
Yeah.
And then she just kind of works well with that overall 3 power. I mean, if you think about it, when they buff and nerf different cards, right, it's only usually like by 1. And so setting things to past that is so, it's crazy to get 3 extra. Like if I go to power here, if you go through the cards that are either 0 or 1, they are all, outside of Morph is the outlier there, but they're all cards that you play so often that it kind of, and like Taskmaster Dracula get theirs replaced. But the 1-cost cards for first, Bishop's great, like Black Widow getting that extra bonus, the move cards, man, and then obviously what she does to both Deadpool, Human Torch, and some of those scaling cards.
3, 2, 1.
B tier? You said C?
Yeah.
B and C. Okay, honestly, twist my arm because I don't know if I'd be that mad to put him in C. There's times I want to put this guy at F, and then there's other times I want to put him in A tier. Tell me why you like C for him.
Doesn't go in all of my discard decks because I can't trust him. And so like that that's the thing. It's kind of the same as Swordmaster, but Swordmaster has a better stat line. Like I feel like you can kind of, I guess maybe situationally not, but I feel like I can't rely on Blade. Almost always seems to discard the thing that I don't want it to.
Always.
But also, if I don't choose Blade in my discard decks, then when else am I going to choose it? Unless I'm playing like a Khazar Strong Guy deck. That's the only other scenario, and I would play it final turn so that I make sure that Strong Guy procs.
Blade gets worse over time. And because you get other discard options, and especially pool 3 is so heavy of those discard options. And to what you said about Swordmaster, I think it's because it's turn 1, and you are just getting a very small sample of what you're going to have that game.
Right.
And with Swordmaster, you could have it, your full deck, you could have whatever. Whereas Blade, man, I'm telling you, in his code, there's like a 5% extra chance. I swear, it's just like Iceman. It's like, I swear it's in the code. Prove me wrong, second dinner.
3, 2, 1.
B tier? Yeah, B tier for sure. I don't think he's below average. Definitely don't think it's good in any deck. B tier was kind of made for Deadpool. Give me what you think of him. Give me your breakdown.
You have to draw Deadpool by turn 2 in order to really be effective. Like, half the time that I have Deadpool in my decks, either I draw Deadpool and only draw 1 destroy card and then get the other ones at like turn 4. And I'm like, okay, great. Like, Deadpool's not going to get that big. But there are also situations where I've seen it destroyed on turn 1 on a location, and then 2, 3, 4, and I've seen it get absolutely massive, but that's very situational. So not only is Deadpool like really reliant on the cards that you draw, but has to be played very early on in order to reach its fullest potential.
And you need the destroy options too. Like, yeah, Deadpool I think is fun. Like, it's a fun card. This is my thought of Deadpool. I think a year from now in Marvel Snap, he could be one of the better cards in the game, because I think by then we're going to have options for either more card drawing mechanics or ways to destroy cards early on. And or just a more consistent low, kind of like move, how like these cards are triggered off of the power for moving. I think he's going to be in that same boat, if that makes sense.
3, 2, 1.
B tier. Yeah, okay. I think this is probably the most situationally solid card that we have. I mean, he's
100%.
He is, and again, I think I've seen creators or other players, like, they put him in all their zero decks, all of their, whatever, move decks, different control decks. Do you play him a lot?
No, even when I'm thinking of move decks and things like that, I don't think to go to Ebony Maw, but I think if I took a step back and I was like, what can I do to effectively add more power and still be able to control the board? Like, I would probably start throwing Ebony in more, especially like with White Tiger options, with move options.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say he's our highest 1-cost drop. He's probably at the very top of B tier to me as well. I mean, there are times that his little ongoing ability has just ruined me. But there's also times where, like, it's starting to fit in more. First of all, Sauron, I mean, no one has him. Or very few people have him. But Sauron is starting to make him a lot better. Invisible Woman hiding him can work. And then you have him in null decks with Galactus, Adam Warlock, like you said. So I think he's getting more and more play. But it's just, if it comes down, like, that board space is so important.
3, 2, 1.
C tier? C, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we should put a D tier, because it is tough. But yeah, C tier, I don't think she's the worst.
No, not at all. Especially on certain locations. If you hold her till final turn on Mojo's World, it's hilarious.
But be
Because you
honest, when have you used it? When's the last time you've used it?
Oh yeah, not since I have gotten my full 3 collection. You know, 1 and 2 was probably in a lot of my decks. But honestly, if you played Elektra now, you could sneaky get rid of so many sunspots that everybody's using, and there's insane value there. But you just don't use it.
Yeah, I think what I was thinking about her is that, yeah, because of Nova and wanting to kill your own, typically it's like Killmonger's almost always included, and then if you're not, or you're sometimes using Sunspot, and then you have armor in the deck anyway. What I want to see with Elektra is either change that to any location, destroy random 1-cost at any location to make it a little bit easier to target. So Elektra C tier feels good for both of us. Let's move on.
3, 2, 1.
Mr. Hawkeye, look at this gray border. You can tell I just play this guy all the time here, all the time. I'm curious to see your F tier, by the way. I'm excited because if I pick 3,
I'm probably just too nice.
You are too nice. I'm gonna challenge at the end if you don't put any in there. Make your case for C. Let's start there.
I guess it's only C if you can play it turn 1. I would say bottom of C tier, maybe even F, but I appreciate the 1-3 stat line, especially when you're going to play on that location anyways.
Yeah, I feel like when he feels good, he does feel good. The problem with me is, yeah, first, right, you're letting him know where you're going, not only for Guardians, but also, like, they're like, all right, he's going to obviously hunker down on that location. I'll go for the other 2. But then also, you get 1 location revealed. And so, like, there's so many things, like Gamma Lab, let's say that shows up, and you played him on the left lane, and you're like, I need to put my cards in Gamma Lab. So, like, to me, that's why he feels so bad, is, like, you have to guess right. It has to be good. And you do all of that for a 1-3. It's that, and that's why I just never play the card. I do understand the stat line and appreciation of it. But, yeah, Hawkeye for me is what represents that bottom of the barrel there.
I'm
Angel.
fine with that.
Okay.
I'm fine with that.
3, 2, 1.
B. Yeah, okay. B tier for sure. First of all, can we just take an appreciation? Yo, do you have this one?
No, I have the Grek one.
The one, oh, I love the Grek one. The thing that does it for me in this is look at the reflection. How
it's
cool.
Unreal.
Yeah, I want to hear you start off on this.
It's tough for me to say that right now because the last couple days I've actually been climbing with Human Torch. I went from 100 to 106 with him, which is pretty good going up against a lot of the stuff that is in Infinite with all of the Surfer decks and the Killmonger decks and all that kind of stuff. But I've got armor in my deck, and man, I would say at least half the games I get Human Torch over 10.
Yep.
Like, honestly, which is disgusting. Like, that's insane power. Now, you are putting all of that power in one location with a move deck, so you're using all of your move cards to get that power in one location, when typically you want to use your move cards to spread out your power. So there is a little bit of a drawback there, but he's just a lot of fun, like you said, and that power potential is huge.
I think what puts him in B for me is that there's days, like you said, feels like A tier. There's days he feels like C tier. So and I would say the meta reflects that too. So if Killmonger is very prevalent, or in general, just the meta's not as kind to move decks can happen plenty. So B tier, the Human Torch, definitely one that I again see in the future being top. I mean, at least top of A tier. I mean, once we get more move options.
3, 2, 1.
S tier. Yeah, it's tough. And
I
don't
hate
want
to say it.
I know. And I don't want to follow the mold. I don't want to just be a sheep. But
yeah.
But
so I think that it's top of A, but I think everyone thinks it's S tier.
So,
and that's why you see it so much. It can completely screw up a lot of stuff, especially right now with playing Silver Surfer. And if you're playing Sarah Surfer, it's like, okay, cool. Well, now I can only play 2 of my 3-cost cards. Thanks. So it is extremely strong.
I think right now, this meta and last meta, it's S tier. Will it always be there? I don't know. And I love what you just said, because everyone thinks like, oh, the Professor X, it ruined. No, it's Patriot and Mystique. It's the 3 double 3 plays is where I think he comes in the most. Yeah, he has no drawback, and the 2 power too. I mean, just to throw to that is a great opening. One of the best openers in the game. Definitely S tier, top of the list for me.
3, 2, 1.
B.
Yeah, a B or C for me. As long as Human Torch is towards the top of B tier, I need him on. And I get it. He is a move option for 1 cost. And with a bounce deck and things, it's amazing. He can be used to get into hard to reach locations. In fact, yeah, I would say B tier, but towards the end. Why do you have him there?
Because it's that kind of rotating option to fill in those spots. Like I was saying earlier when we started, why are 1 cost cards so important? They fill in those spots, you know? Like, obviously, you have Cloak, you have Doctor Strange. I don't like always playing Heimdall on my final turn.
Yeah.
So if there's a final turn where I can play Iron Fist, Dagger, and Strange, people are going to be like, what the heck just happened? Like, Iron Fist Dagger is a disgusting turn 6 play, especially if someone's filled up a location, and then you Doctor Strange one of your higher cost cards, or you play Doctor Strange first, whatever, like catching them off guard. And you can't do that if Iron Fist wasn't a 1 cost.
The more we see like Death Altar and all these different locations that are so hard to get into, he can help with that too. So that's decent. Like the card.
3, 2, 1.
A. Yeah. A. Did you think I was going to go S? I'm just curious.
No, because
Okay.
I know how important S is. But I think you see him probably top of A, which I would as well, probably top to middle.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the Darkhawk meta more than ever. I mean, 50% chance to draw a rock on their side is incredible. Over 50% at times. I mean, it definitely, Korg to me feels like he's in a good spot.
Right.
Do you play Korg a lot right now, even outside of Darkhawk?
No, I mean, the 1 cost card that I play, we haven't even gotten to yet.
Really solid card. We'll put him in the A tier.
3, 2, 1.
C that I never play. Like,
Right.
C that I never play, but I want to play more of. Why don't you play Mantis?
Because I think Agent 13's better, and because I think that Cable is better, even though it costs 1 more, it's guaranteed. You have a 100% chance to draw from their deck. When Mantis, you have 33% chance to draw from your deck. So I think that 66% chance is worth the other energy. If I play Mantis, I don't want to play it turn 1. I'd rather play it like turn 3, like Collector Mantis, something along those lines, just to give you a little bit more of a read on what they're doing. But a lot of times, just the fact that it says 1 on it, subconsciously we think, oh, I need to play this. And then that can be dangerous and make it not effective.
I think she's in a perfect spot, though. 2 power's good if you whiff, and if you make it, you get the card, and that's also huge, too.
3, 2, 1.
C.
F tier. Here's the thing. Cerebro Lockjaw. There it is. Done.
Yeah, that's the only reason that I say it. If there was D, like I'm saying bottom, like very bottom of C, because Baku's nasty in some of those Lockjaw decks, like coming out, and even Cerebro popping out and winning, because I've had it happen, and it's like, whoa, surprise factor. Now, yes, typically F tier for 90% of the time, but I'd say like sometimes it's like super nasty.
If I only want to have 3 cards in F tier, he right now, because like due to those 2, like Cerebro has so many other fillable options, and Lockjaw for that matter. So I'm like, that's why I have him there for now. Have you been lucky enough to be engraced into the Church of M'Baku?
Yes, I unlocked M'Baku from a chest.
Same here. So you're one of the lucky few.
3, 2, 1.
C tier. Yeah, top of C for me. Lower B, I'm sure for you, right?
Yep.
So Patriot.
Yeah, that's why I say situationally, but not even the best, because with the 1-2 stat line, obviously it's good, but you have Squirrel Girl, you have so many other 1 cost. Well, actually, you don't have so many other 1 costs that fit within the Patriot build, you know, but you do have Ultron, you do have other things like that, but only within Patriot decks. That's why
she's so high in Patriot decks. Like, she's definitely great in Patriot decks. Like, such a solid option. But yeah, I feel like Patriot can be fought for space. Like, it really, there's a lot of things that can kind of fit into Patriot decks nowadays. Even Ultron is going to do the same thing on the last turn and take that spot, except you get 1 extra power. In any deck, a lot of these can work, and I'm just trying to think, like, in the grand scale. That's why I have her, like, man, you're a crazy person if you put... I have not seen Misty Night outside of, even like Cerebro too. I wouldn't know why. There's just nothing to her. There's nothing to just a vanilla card, right? Like, I would run M'Baku at that point, because why not? You know, at least you get the mechanic out of him.
3, 2, 1.
A.
Yeah, A tier. Good A. Like, good up there on A, for sure. Why is he not S? Why is he not B?
Not B, because of the different interactions you can get with Nightcrawler with things like Angela, and then obviously just other locations. Like being able to move Nightcrawler, even in Cerebro decks and whatnot, could be good. But I guess a lot of times, like you said, board space is so important.
Yeah, Nightcrawler to me, it's like he's so... I love Night. I really do. Bar Sinister, Cerebro decks, getting to hard to reach locations. He's a bluff card in a sense. I've forgotten that he can move. I don't know why sometimes, but I'm like, all right, so he's maxed out on that location. Like when you're just working quickly through your heads. Yeah. And so I think that the ability to move is so rare in the game. Love that. But yeah, you're right. In the right decks, he is the winning condition in times. Like he can just win that game for you. But in a lot of decks, he's just a good card to have in. And he's one I still play. He's definitely one compared to others that I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I'll put Nightcrawler in this edition of the deck. I'm curious again, and I'm going to go back to when they do maybe put some potential nerfs on one of the most overplayed one cost right now. I think there's only a couple tweaks to really make one cost competitive. And if they do that, I think he might be that one of those number one slots.
3, 2, 1.
A? Yeah. A.
Bottom of A.
Bottom of A, but you kill him. Like, it's like thanks for nothing, but thanks for everything kind of thing. Yeah.
And I feel like I don't even use him all the time in my destroy decks.
No.
I still have a bad taste in my mouth from Beta Nova, where he buffed everything by 2 and people played Moon Girl, and I wanted to punch my computer.
It was dark times. Like straight up, like I'm pretty sure there's like a good 500 players that never came back to Snap because of that beta experience with Nova, guys. He used to do +2 to every card, y'all. So yeah, bottom of A
Bottom
feels
of A.
good. Yeah, especially in Sarah Control, especially for the turn 6 surprises. A turn 6 Nova is one of the better finishes in the game, especially if you don't have a lot of bigger cards and different combos. But yeah, it's like in the 1-2, it didn't do anything. It really didn't do all that much outside of priority change. But no one's playing him in the first turn or 2 anyway. So yeah.
3, 2, 1.
F.
Yeah, I didn't even need to say it. Okay. I do like the variant. I'll say I like the...
Dude, it is one of the sickest variants. Like, I love this one.
You know it's bad when we start out with like, well, the variant's cool, you know? All right. Why is he terrible?
Because he isn't that impactful of a stat line, and so the goal is to draw your other cards, and he prevents you from doing that. And I used to think the same of Domino. Obviously, we're doing one-cost cards, but Domino actually pushes cards out of your hand. Same with America Chavez. Quicksilver does the opposite. He keeps cards in your deck that you ideally want. Like, turn 1 isn't that important.
No, not at all. And I think, yeah, so people need to know this if you don't by now. Quicksilver is going to be is the worst for hand draw, period. He's going to ruin your hand draw by a good... he's the opposite of American Chavez. The only time I use him is in a Jubilee deck with all high-tier options. I use him that I have a guaranteed token, or like a Lockjaw deck when I don't have other cards and I don't have Wasp, and you're looking for that, or Agatha. But even then, it's like, don't even play one. You don't even need him. You don't need him in there. So yeah, bottom of the barrel, F tier. And I don't know. I think this is a candidate that will never be changed. I think he's just a...
Yeah.
He's just
going to be.
3, 2, 1.
B.
Hey, yeah, I'm going to go bottom of A. You go top of B?
Top of B. Like top of B, especially situationally. But man, when you get Quinjet to work, it's disgusting. Like,
yeah, I feel like I'm more high up on Quinjet than most are. And that's because I'm a big Thanos guy too, but... Right? Like, when it works, it's inventive. Like, with Moon Girl and things like that, it's just fantastic.
Yeah, and it's like, if you think about Sarah, things can't get below 1. Quinjet, things can get below 1, especially in Thanos decks, which is, like, disgusting.
3, 2, 1.
C.
E. Okay, I was going to go B. Okay, you go C.
Were you struggling between B and C? I mean, it is a 1-4, but again, it's that whole guessing game. But it's not a card that you play turn 1.
The thing is, I actually have him kind of more 3, like, towards the upper pack of B. Really,
Okay.
because if I look at him with like Agent 13, I've been starting to play Rocket, and I get these are niche scenarios, but like you can follow him up with Valkyrie, Galactus decks where you kind of have to close in their lane, control decks with like Spider-Man, and then you force the lane. I'm liking him a lot more.
Yeah.
And I would say turn 6, turn 5, he's almost guaranteed 4. It's pretty easy at that point to guess
Oh, yeah.
where it's going to go. And so if you can have the patience, but I like him in B. I'm probably higher up than most. Let us know down in the comments where you have a Rocket.
3, 2, 1.
Hey.
Yeah, right? Almost no
Right.
question. Almost no question.
Yeah. And I think that the reason is a lot of people might not recognize why it's A, but for me, the reason that it's A is because of the priority that it gives you. Like, instant, guaranteed, I'm in control for probably the next 3 turns. Like, ultimately, yeah, I'm probably going to end up destroying it or using it with Patriot, but the fact that I get to choose what happens for the next 3 turns, pretty much, because I have priority, I show first. Depending on what my opponent does, I can block, I can counter. I think that that's what gives Squirrel Girl the kind of upper hand there.
So I like what you're saying outside of decks even, and then yeah, I would also say just like you have getting to locations that you can't get to for 1 cost. Takes no effort at all. She's fantastic for sacrificing. So I feel bad as she makes this pastry cake.
3, 2, 1.
S tier. Would you say top of S tier?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's the best. I think it's the best 1 cost in it right now, currently. No question, too.
And it does what the other ones do without having to spend them, if that makes sense. Like I said, you might have more 1-cost cards in your hand because you want to fill those spots and you don't want to waste that energy, but then you're also taking up board space. Sunspot doesn't do that. And then if you look at it in regards to some of the metas now with She-Hulk and all that kind of stuff, absolutely ridiculous. One of the best leader counters in the game. People don't think about it too much, but he's the 1-cost in all my decks.
Yeah, he always keeps your opponent on their toes. Always. You know, they never know. Like, okay, I have that location, but is he going to give just 2 over there? And they have to commit a whole card, and you just have to commit a lesser play. And he's a good card decks, and definitely at the top of this list. By a mile, too, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think the only thing that they could do if they wanted to do something, and normally I don't think that just removing health is actually a nerf, but I think that they could put him down to 1-0 and he would still be viable. He wouldn't give you priority on a lane, which is obviously something else that comes with removing that power. But I don't think there's anything you could do to change the amount of energy that he gets. Like I think he's great as he is, and he's the most popular card in the game.
Exactly. So it's like, you know, when they did that with Angela, it was perfect because Angela's still good, but like, but now she's just a little less good.
3, 2, 1.
A.
S-A.
Okay. Yeah, top of A for me.
A couple months ago, S tier, like no question. It was like always S tier for me, but I'm playing him less. I'm playing him less than I did before. So I think I could agree on top of A. There's so many ways to get rid of that -2 molt. The 6 is just awesome. Why A, not S for you?
Because of the board. If you're not playing a destroy deck, or if you're not playing a have some crap deck where you play Viper and send it over, having that -2 is annoying, especially if somebody armors it or something along those lines. It's like, great. Not only is that -2, but it's also taking up a space on my side. And so then really it's just a 1-4, which is actually a really good stat line, but it's taking up extra space.
I think, again, this is kind of meta dependent, and in December, Destroy was top of the game. That's why it was S tier. I think now, as far as like flexibility, top of A feels good to me.
3, 2, 1.
A tier. Yeah, it's A tier for sure, guys. It could, and honestly, if you're a smart enough player, if you are a smart enough player and you have the foresight to think ahead, I actually have never wanted to do a full card dedicated video, but I might on Titania because of the math behind it. When to player and how many cards they have to play and you have to play. You can just stop combos. I can't tell you how many times they have Wong, and I'm like, how about we just have that Titania until turn 6, and then I'll take it right back. But dude, 1-5 or, you know, I don't know, 0. You have, if you play 0, it's a 2 energy, 8 power play.
Yeah, that's insane.
It's filthy.
3, 2, 1.
F.
Yeah. Look at Molt saying F. If Molt saying unsatisfied with this survey, that's when you know. I I would guess if you look at my entire Marvel Snap collection, if you were to see my cards played, I think he's in the bottom 3 for me.
Oh yeah, easily. He might even be in. He's probably the least played card in the game for me. I mean, how many locations in the game are there now? Close to 100, right?
Yeah, there is. I think there's like 98. Yeah, somewhere in that ballpark. I mean,
yeah, and maybe 3% of those will give you a benefit with Uatu, like cards can't be played here, or play cards that are destroyed here, whatever. Like now we're getting a couple more of those, but
and then what do you out 1 cube?
Yeah.
So what? X-Men Mansion gets me out 1 cube like that, you know? Like, so like Uatu in the deck doesn't make any sense. He's got to have something else going. Either in your deck you get to see the locations, or he's a 1/3, which would make him too good. I don't know. I don't know because he has to come with a con if he's a 1/3. So I don't know what to do with this guy right here. But no, Uatu represents F tier. Him and a couple others are fighting for that bottom spot, no question.
3, 2, 1.
A, B, yeah, A, B. Okay, yeah. So why B for you?
Very situational. Like Patriot, Lockjaw, pretty much the only time that you would use it. Even though I have seen people use Wasp final turn and beat me by 1. Can go in Bishop decks and all that kind of stuff. But if it's in there, it's taking up the place of another valuable spot. And so that's why I think having it for that final turn Patriot to catch people off guard, or having it as that free Lockjaw pull is where it actually gains its value.
I do like Wasp. Not a lot of cons, but I think to what you said, she takes a spot up. Is it worth that spot? Probably it's your 1 cost spot. Is it better than Sunspot? Hell no, right?
3, 2, 1.
B. Yeah, B tier.
If Wasp is B, Yellowjacket's B.
For sure. And I used to hate Yellowjacket, man. But Yellowjacket simply being played first in the lane. Cool. And then on top of that, Adam Warlock in him is literally free card draw. I like him. I do. I play him more now.
And with Luke Cage, like, why not? You know, adds that extra 2 power, fits within Cerebro decks, all that kind of stuff. And especially that Adam Warlock combo. Lots of different things you can do with Yellowjacket. I don't play him that much, but I see his value within those scenarios.
Number 1 big brain play I've ever seen in my life. I was playing a Cerebro 2 deck. Somebody played Spider-Man, then Yellowjacket, took the Spider-Man down to 2 to match everyone else, and I was like, this guy right here is playing a different Marvel Snap than I've been playing. Like, it never ceases to amaze me. But yeah, I do like Yellowjacket. He's pretty good. 0-2 for free. You know, why not?
3, 2, 1.
B?
A.
A? Okay. All right. B, A.
Bottom A.
Okay. Tell me why.
Getting rid of an important card is incredible. Like, if you think about how people build their decks, they don't just flippantly throw cards into their decks. For the most part, 90% of the cards in a deck are extremely important to the success of that deck. Obviously, you have different things in there that if you don't draw one, you have another kind of replacement for that. But if Yondu can remove something that is vital to the success of a deck, then awesome. Especially turn 1, taking that out. And then within the B tier situationally solid side of things, like you're saying, for death, absolutely insane that even though it doesn't say destroy, it works in death decks. Yondu just adds that extra value there. So I think being able to remove and kind of control some of your opponent's deck by removing something, and then also adding to that whole destroy mechanic makes him pretty solid for me.
3, 2, 1.
A. Yeah. A tier. I don't know, man. You could put him in way more than just 0 decks nowadays.
Yeah, like, for sure. I mean, because especially if you think about things like Lizard, that honestly, Lizard wasn't played much in beta. I played Lizard all the time in beta because I was like, this is ridiculous. I force people to play on this location, and if they don't, then I get 5 power. Awesome, thanks.
Yep.
And so Lizard being able to play on Maximus is incredible. Like, a lot of times when people think of 0, they think of Typhoid and Red Skull. That's kind of where their mind goes. But 0 fits, like you said, in lots of different scenarios, and that 1/3 stat line is pretty solid.
Pretty solid. And then, yeah, playing on turn 6 with, like, him, Red Skull, playing Titania nowadays, playing Ebony Maw, playing... there's so much that kind of works with them. The 1/3 is fantastic as well. And then it's like there's so many Cosmos nowadays, too. Just, like, throw him on that lane if you don't want to get his effect on top of it. Zoo decks work. 0 archetypes are continuing to skyrocket. So, yep, 0 is going to be in the A tier, man, which means we have ranked every single card. Let's go look at the list. All right, guys, so after organizing everything, this is our final take on ranking all of the 1 costs. As you can see, we did promote and demote a couple of them and razor thin margins for some of them here. This, if you guys are struggling which 1 costs to plug into your deck, this is a pretty good reference. Again, some of these move up depending on the archetype, some move down depending on the archetype. And some are just more plug and play. Well, guys, if this video gets enough feedback and if you guys enjoy it, let me know. We definitely could do this for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and heck, maybe even bring more voices on with me and Molt. We could continue to do a huge sounding board here. You guys let us know if you like this new ranking series and if it helps out you guys as players. Thank you guys so much for coming by today. And Molt, if you guys want to check him out, you can check down in the description below and you can subscribe to Molt. Great gamer and incredible creator, buddy. Thanks so much for coming on, man.
Of course, brother. It's always fun, man.
All right, guys. We'll see you on the next one.